Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who do not know me, my name is Jamie, and today we are going to be starting my first reading vlog of the month. I have been really wanting to do one of these for a while. I just never really knew what to start with, but considering the fact that I have a huge event coming up at the end of the month, I am super excited to start on some of these books that I plan on reading this week. I have made a lot of great progress with getting some book down from my Villians Vixens Convention. I had picked a total of 10 books for me to read for this convention to kind of get out of my head a little bit and read some new authors and see like what kind of weird tropes and stories there are out there. I have already read 2 this month. One of them was a DNF. I just didn't vibe with the writing really, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, so I let that one go. The other one I just finished the other night, and that was Dodge by B. Sub. I gotta figure out how to pronounce the name. B. Subjakan. Like I said, I will ask her at the convention and figure out how to say it right. But I did read that one. That one is a little bit different from what I'm used to. That one was more of a breeding kink kind of book, and I did not anticipate that in this. It is like a motorcycle gang, and we go down that road, and I'm like, okay, I'll try other things by her, but I'll figure that out when I see what she has at the convention, and I'll figure out if I want to get one of her books or not. But with all that being said, those are the only 2 that I have read, and I have 8 more left to go. So I figured I would take you on this journey this time to read a couple of books that are completely new to me. I know nothing about these books. They're authors I've never heard of before, which is part of the reason why I like doing this. Today, I would like to start a new book called Envy, and this is by C.L. Breyer. This one is supposed to be more of like a 7 Deadly Sins spinoff, so I believe it's 7 brothers, and I don't really know what the rest of the story is about, if I'm going to be honest. The synopsis was not really clear, but I don't know. All I know is that it's going to get violent really freaking quick, and there's going to be some other things in here that are going to be kind of different. Never heard of this author before. I have seen the cover a few times, but I never really thought anything of it. I didn't know what it was about. This is just a duo right now. I don't know if she's planning on making more, but we'll figure that out later. I'll probably ask her that once I get there. But so far, the next one is the title page, and then we got the copyrights, chapter page, there's another chapter page, a full page of content warnings. That's wonderful. So nothing really stands out other than torture and emotional abuse and manipulation, religious trauma. That's different. I haven't seen that in there before. And then attempted assault. So it says not successful, so I should be fine. It's only the things that are successful that really get me sometimes. So there's a whole bunch of kinks. I'm not going to go into that because I really don't care. Beginning, and then we're on our first chapter. So I'm going to take this in the other room. My husband and I are just chilling out today because yesterday we went to Aquatica and we had a lot of fun. There was no call for rain, nothing like that. But we did get burnt a lot. I mostly got burnt down here on my stomach and then all over my back. My back is completely burnt. So I'm definitely going to be snuggled up today. I'm probably going to take these off, just these 2, and keep my regular one that I always keep on. But I had to film another video and I wanted to look cute. So, but it says it's only going to take 4 hours and 52 minutes for me to get through it. That might go down considering it's barely 300 pages. And Dodge was like 260 and I read it in 4 hours. So that may be accurate. We'll figure that out. But I am looking forward to seeing if this is going to be a hit or miss. Usually I can tell within the first 20 pages if I'm going to like it or not, if it hooks me, or if I'm already noticing things I don't like. That's kind of how it was with Spellbound and Broken. That was the one that I DNF'd. We had a time jump like weeks, and we Still don't know much about the character's life, and anything that had happened in between that. It was just hello. But not only that, but I just wasn't like the banter between the characters. It just wasn't working. So things like that I usually notice really, really early on. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because it does sound really good, and I could use kind of a more actiony romance right now. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So if that one is going to be actiony, I would highly prefer it. If not, better luck next time. What? I know your dad is being very loud, isn't he? Okay. Alright. So I didn't get as far as I wanted to yesterday because I had to put a video out. I forgot that last minute. I needed to put a video out, and then I needed to do all my Instagram stuff. So with all that being out of the way for the weekend, my goal for the weekend was finally done. I got to chapter 4 yesterday. This is a dual POV. I'm really liking the fact that this is dual POV because it just makes it all the much better. Silas and Evie. Silas is the envy for the 7 deadly sins. All of his brothers are the 7 deadly sins. Pretty easy to understand. And they also have a sister. Their sister's name is Tempest. Tempest is going to be the roommate of Evie, which is where they are going to meet. I have not gotten to the part where they meet yet. That's actually probably going to be this chapter. And I'm very curious to see how they react and where this is going to go. A matter of fact, of where we go with the story in general, because the synopsis was actually very accurate with the beginning, but didn't give any context into the rest of the story. So I'm very thankful for that. But I'm really liking the writing. I love the writing, and the situations definitely make sense. I actually cannot wait until I get further into this. I want to see how far we get today. It says I have about like 4.5 hours because of how much I was trying to work around talking yesterday. So yeah. I needed a break. I needed a break on that. I'm sorry. But okay, so I have to explain myself. The first meeting between Evie and the brothers did not necessarily go very well. um, she as she was about to fall, he caught her, and then some of the other brothers showed up. And when you see many big guys coming in all at once, you kind of get a little freaked out, especially when you don't know who they are. So there was that, but the way Silas was acting was not. I can't place it, but I think it was just like roll your eyes seriously already type of feel. So there was that. And that was the meeting and everything. Well, now Evie's first night here, Tempest wanted to go out and do something, so they went out. All the brothers are there. Not necessarily in the club area. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's just say they're all together, sort of doing their own thing. I don't know if I want to continue with this or not. Oh my god. That's a first. Putting all that stuff aside, and focusing on what's going on, I feel like this was insta lust for Silas. So I know that he's gonna probably just keep the ball rolling, and it'll go from there. But I don't like books like that. I might look and see how the rest of this night plays out, and I think that'll determine whether or not I keep going with it, because I don't like insta lust stories, and this is giving insta lust, like heavy insta lust. So yeah. That's embedded into my brain for a very, very long time. When I get uncomfortable, I laugh. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was not where I thought that this night was gonna go. So, like I said, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna keep reading, and I'll find out how the rest of the night goes, and we'll go from there. If it kind of tapers off a little bit, I'll probably keep reading it. But if it goes where I think it's gonna go, I don't think I will. Okay, so I had to wait for a little bit because I had to let my phone charge. It had died on me in the middle of filming. I'm not gonna be continuing the book. The rest of the night that we were talking about last time, it wasn't that bad, and we ended off on an okay note, and we actually had gone a week past that point. So it didn't bug me. That part didn't bug me. We did start on the next time, and you would think a girl would figure out after the first time not to try and play around. Let's just say some stuff happens, and we end up in a place that we did not expect. And he is right now in the process of making her do something that I personally would not even do for my husband in a million years. Matter of fact, I don't think I would ever do anything like that for anyone in my life. So this book is not for me. I did try. I really did. I got up to, I think, what, 38%? Yeah, 38%, which left me with like 3 hours left of the book. I can't. I can't continue. I tried. I tried putting it down and seeing if I could possibly handle it, and then it just kept getting worse. And it progressed into something that I don't want to read at all. So, with that being said, I'm letting that one be where it lies. Did I like the writing? Yes, I did like the writing, and I might look to see if I can try something else by her, but this is definitely not a series that I want to dive into. So what I'm going to do now is I decided that I'm not going to rate it because it is not for me. It wouldn't be fair to rate it low. I seriously have been debating on this ever while my phone has been charging. It's been like an hour. So I've been debating for an hour whether or not to rate this publicly or not. And I decided that I'm not going to. I'm going to write my review, but I'm not going to put a star rating on it because it is personally just not my choice of anything I would do. Already we are 2 DNFs in and one book that I'm iffy on. This is going a whole lot worse than my first convention I did this for. But it's okay. I'm holding out for the longer ones. These are all the shorter ones right now. I don't know what I expected. I expected to at least like Envy. And Dodge. I did like Dodge, but it still wasn't what I thought it was gonna be, and it turned into something that I just cringed me out. But this one was like Dodge times 3. So yeah, that's where I'm noticing a theme here. Next one, I've been going in length order, so I started with the shortest and I'm working my way up to the longest, which, go figure, the longest one is Daggermouth. So I'll be finishing off with Daggermouth. But yeah, I gotta go through all the rest of them first before I get there. But already we're 3 books in out of the 10, so I got 7 left, which isn't bad, but considering the fact that we're not doing too great right now, I will try one more book before the end of the day. I'm going to write all my review stuff, and then I'll let you guys know which one's up next, and then we'll start that one, and hopefully that one will be a little bit better. Alrighty, so I'm going to make this quick because I do not have my stand right now, and I can't really do much, so I'm going to make this quick. I am about halfway through The Princess and the Pack right now. And guys, I'm actually loving it. I do have to say, with this one, I do like the story. I love the character building. I actually feel connected to each one of these characters. We're getting each of their perspectives. So 4 different perspectives. We have hers, which is Ivy's, and then we have the princess. I don't know how you pronounce his name. It's spelled with a C, so I think it's pronounced Cillian. I could 100% be wrong. And then we have Oren and Sloan. So we have all 3 guys' perspectives and hers. That, I think, really made the difference in this, because we're getting each of their perspectives and we're getting all their feelings on the matter in more ways than one. The only thing that I am finding a little bit annoying is that she's very repetitive. She's very repetitive on their family stature, and we've already been told once, and we've been told at least 3 times about their family stature, how they feel about the matter, and kind of just adding things that don't really need to be in there. I'm there to see what happens. I'm not there to get handheld of their feelings every step of the way. We can kind of figure it out at this point. So it's the only thing that's bothering me. But right now, this is sitting at like a 4.5. And I'm only halfway. That could definitely change. I want to see Hopefully I'll finish this by tomorrow. That would be great. But I do want to see how we go with this story because it's actually really interesting. It's a different take on werewolf shifters. They're not really shifting, but they have the same characteristics as like going in heat and all the other anatomy stuff. But it's pretty much the same thing. I'm really liking it. I think this is the first decent one I've had. I'm trying to hold the camera still, it's not working. But I think this is the first decent one that I've had out of the whole batch so far. And it was the one I was kind of anticipating not liking. But I love the artwork. She included a lot of artwork. She included the I'll include like an example page up here, but she included artwork about who was talking. You kind of know who's talking without even like knowing the names, just by based off what they look like. And then we also had like a few random pictures in here, which I thought was cool. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm very happy with it. I'm hoping to give you guys an update tomorrow. That would be wonderful. But I will see you guys whenever I do. Good morning, my lovelies. Okay, so yesterday was a very long day. It was my dad's birthday, and as you guys saw from the little clip I was able to do yesterday, I did start Original Sinner by Kate Bellinger. I had to play with it. I keeps her from scratching the door, so don't mind my arm. I started that up, and that was one of the few that actually came with an audiobook in addition to the Kindle Unlimited. I had never done that before, and I didn't know how it worked, so it took me a hot minute to figure that out, and then once I pulled it up on my phone, I was able to listen to most of it. I listened to, I think, 58% yesterday. So instead of listening to it today, because I really debated on it, I don't like listening to audios on the weekends because I always listen to audios during the week. So we're going to be physically reading a book today. Now that it's Saturday, I can actually sit down for longer than 30 minutes. So the next one on the list, I already looked it up. It's going to be Dark Oz by Geneva Monroe, I believe. Guys, I think this is the one I'm most excited for because just not only the concept really intrigues me, having a Dark Oz type of feel to it, but I'm currently in the middle of reading the Wizard of Oz series right now, so everything's kind of fresh in my mind. I have no idea if it is going to be anything related to these books whatsoever, but it definitely piqued my interest a lot more than some of the other ones. So the ones I'm reading right now are in the 300 range, so nothing too drastic. So having Original Sinner be an audiobook is kind of like a godsend because I can kind of put that one on pause and then know I'm going to finish it by Monday. Without a doubt. There's like, I think 3.5 more hours left on it. So I should be able to finish that definitely on Monday. So I'm not worried about that one. Aside from that, that was book number 5. So I'm halfway through my TBR right now. And doing that within about 2 weeks is kind of, it's nice. I should definitely finish this TBR before I actually go to the convention. So, with all that being said, today, let's see if I can find it. But we're going to start off with Dark Oz today. I am super excited for this. I can't even express how much I am excited for this. And the only thing I'm really scared of is this not being what I'm anticipating, which is at least including some of the elements in here. If we get at least some of them, even if the names are different, I will be happy. But if it's nothing like that whatsoever, I will be kind of a little bit upset. But giving you guys an update on Original Sinner, now that all of this has been said. I'm really liking it. It's different. It's a different take on the original Seven Deadly Sins. So versus what we got like with Envy, where it was like 7 brothers and they all rampaged the city. It's pretty much the same concept with this one. However, you have all the 7 deadly sins, but the leader is Lucifer, like the actual devil. So he is there in the city, basically the head of the corporation, and everybody else kind of just has their clubs or their small businesses and stuff. But he's the one who has the biggest business. And we have Charlotte. She goes and she's ready to start this new job and everything. Um, yeah, her. I swear, even this would like bug me, but I get there and I'm only supposed to be like just the fetcher of the coffee. That's just the really a low assistant, doing basic work. But she gets there and she's automatically upgraded to being the like head of social media or the publishing lady. She's in charge of the media control. She has to become her assistant because her assistant is gone. So she gets to start doing that. And then she gets ripped into something even bigger because of everything that's been going on with Lucifer and her. So it's very interesting. I've actually been really enjoying this, and being only halfway through, there haven't been a lot of spice scenes. I'm actually very happy about that. It was a lot of tension and a lot of buildup, but in the back of your head, because we're also getting Lucifer's perspective too, in the back of your head, you're like, this is not going to end well, or what the hell is going to happen with this? I have reached the point in the book where I'm starting to wonder if this is going to go where I think it's going to go, or if it's going to, I'm wondering if it's going to be a situation like the Remnants of Riley near the end of the book, or if something is going to happen and bring in a different element into the story. I don't know. But I am really enjoying it. And listening to the audio is a lot of fun. I usually tend to not do that with romance books just because I don't like listening to spice in my ears. I'd rather read it, so if I need a break, I can just break it. But with audios, I like get sucked into it, and sometimes I forget that I can pause it if I need to. So, but it is really, really good. I am actually really enjoying this one. The 7 Deadly Sin take is a lot better. We don't see a lot of them, the different characters and the different sins. We don't see a lot of them. We mostly see just Lucifer. But they do take a part in the story, just in different ways. That is really the only thing that's been iffy with me, is we haven't been getting as much as the sins as I thought we were going to, since that was the main portion of the story in my brain. But I'm okay with just having Lucifer. I think the only other thing too is I feel like he's all talk and doesn't want to show what he can do because he really doesn't want to do it. They're really downplaying him in this. If he was really as bad as everybody else said, I feel like there would be a lot more evidence of that, in my opinion. Not just in the lustful ways, because that's kind of a given. They kind of go hand in hand sometimes. But yeah, I'm not seeing the darker side a lot. I think that's really the only thing that's kind of iffy with me right now, is that I wish we were seeing more of his darker side being applied in the story. We've barely seen any of it. And really, he hasn't actually done anything. He's mostly just getting people with his words, which to me is kind of not fun. If you're gonna make it dark and you're gonna bring the devil involved, I feel like there needs to be at least some things represented in the book that tie in with it, and not kind of just glazed over saying that he does things. But that's my opinion. We may get it later. I don't know, But going halfway through the book already and having him in the story as much as we have, I'm hoping that we see it with Remnants of Riley by A.M. Wagner. I kind of felt the same way, where I thought he was just all talk, but then we reached the end of the book and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm hoping it's a situation like that where we'll see it somewhere, but right now I'm just not getting it. And she writes really, really well. I am loving every minute of it. I feel like it's a movie playing in my head. I feel like her personality would be very similar to mine if I was put in these kind of a situation. Just very trying to be obnoxious, thinking of my own ways to deal with things, and just being pissed off more than half the time and sarcastic at the same time. That's pretty much how I would handle it too. But anyway, I'm gonna go make some coffee. I'm gonna have some leftover Arby's for my breakfast / lunch because it's 11 o'clock. And you're like, why would you have Arby's first thing in the morning? I don't get the fried stuff over Arby's. I kind of just stay away from it. But I do like the turkey bacon ranch sandwich, the club sandwich over there. I really, really like it. It's just something about the turkey that I like. So I love that one, and then the chicken bacon Swiss. Those are really the only two I get there besides the gyros. Everything else I kind of just avoid. I used to love their loaded fries, and I used to go there specifically for that. But they not recently, it's been a while, but they got rid of them off of the menu. They don't make them anymore, which is kind of sad because they were amazing. But yeah, I used to get those. But last night, I was driving home really, really late, and everybody else had already had dinner when I got to the house. So I'm like, okay, I'll just grab something on the way home. I stopped by Arby's, and they had these new apple pie egg. No, it wasn't apple pie. Peach cobbler egg rolls. And I tried them last night, guys. I ate both. I didn't even want Nick to have the other one. I wanted both. Oh, they were so good. But yeah, they were really good. So I have the club from yesterday, so I'm gonna have that for breakfast instead. It's pretty basic. It's nothing too crazy or fried. So hi. I'm very upset. Like, very upset. Okay, so I started up Dark Oz, and I read quite a bit of it, actually. I got to 15% of the book, which is about 7 chapters. I have 3 things that are wrong with this that is going to force me to DNF this. So, first thing that I had an issue with was we almost have no world building in this whatsoever. I couldn't tell if this was in Oz and it was just like realistic as far as being like an urban fantasy. I don't know if this is in our world where it's just full of elements. I don't know. And it was making me mad. Getting that far in and not having those answers, it gets frustrating. So I don't know what happened with that. There were elements, yes, with the characters. Like we have Thea, which is short for Dorothea. So that was the first thing. Okay. The different characters, like we had Dorothea, and then we had I don't know what one of the guys is supposed to be, if I'm gonna be honest. But we had Aunt M, which turns out to be the bad lady, and then we had the Wicked Witcher, I believe is what they named her, I think. And then we had Henry, who was the one who was handling most of everything in the beginning. They referred to some of them as monkeys. I don't know if they were actually monkeys or if they were just people who she was calling monkeys. That wasn't clear either. And then she had some characters that were dressed up and had names like the actual characters in the book. So it was not clear where she was going with this. We didn't get anything. We did get like the beginning of what was happening in that moment with her and some of the other girls and what happened with her after and what some of the characters were doing. That made sense. I had no issues with that. My issue with the world building was just it was not clear. And it was aggravating. So that was the first thing. Second thing, the banter between the characters was annoying because and not only just the banter too, it was also the wording of some of the things that she was trying to say. I can tell what she wanted to, but some of them were just phrased really, really weird to where I had to back up and read it again. And I don't like it when I have to do that. I took it first couple of times, but then when the banter started between some of the characters, I'm just like, you couldn't say blah 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 instead. So and it was whatever. So that was number 2. And number 3, and the one that kind of made me decide that I was going to DNF it, was her and one of the other characters who helped rescue Dorothea, because they're in this situation in the beginning where it's a human trafficking type of story, which I did not anticipate, if I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that's what she was escaping from. But now I know that. So we're getting away from the situation, and he starts hitting on her and calling her like darling and sweetheart and all this stuff, and the way he was touching her, I'm like, no. I know. You want to tell them? You want to tell them? Yeah. So, yeah, no. I drew the line at that because we're only 15% of the book. And if we're already doing that crap, right as soon as they meet, by the way, this is like not even 5 minutes into the meeting, and they're already calling each other names and already acting like that. I'm like, no, we don't do that. So that's another Insta-lust thing that I just do not personally like. I don't read that because I don't think it's realistic, and it's hard for me to connect with characters that instantly dive into things, and it makes it the whole book. So, no. I know, right? You want to tell him? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, you tell him. She's too cute. Anyway, so that was a flop, and I'm actually very upset. I am very, very upset about that. Because I wanted to like that. I really did. And I wish so many things could have been different, or at least we could have got more explanations, and they could have just held off all their flirting crap until they at least got where they were going, and then it would have probably been a little bit better, but still. It's just... So no, it didn't work for me, which is sad. But at least this one I do not have to rate because I only got 15% of the way. So I have to fill up my journals and put that in there as a DNF again. Out of the 4, I had to figure out which one is next in line as far as page count. We're getting into the popular ones. I think I got one more, and then the rest of them are well known or they've been traditionally published. So we'll start diving into those, and hopefully those will be a better one. Those will be better. But yeah, I'm very upset. So I need to journal for a little bit and decompress before I decide to pick up another one. So that was the mini update for you guys. I'm not happy. All right, my loves. So last update, we talked about how I was going to start Hunt by the Demon Vow, and then how I was going to wrap up Original Center up on Monday. So after doing Dark Oz, I decided that I just didn't want to deal with anything else that weekend and spend a lot of it with my husband, and we did do that. We did we ended up going to a Yu-Gi-Oh card store. Mostly a game store. It's got Magic and Pokemon and all that other fun stuff in there. They were actually having a tournament at the time. That was mostly what he wanted to do. But we did miss the entry times for both places that we stopped by. One was definitely better than the other. But we did that on Sunday instead of me reading. I was 100% okay with that. We just needed something new and to go out of the house. So that's exactly what we got. Monday, because it's Wednesday right now. Monday, I did finish up Original Sinner. I only had like 3 hours left of that. And I have some thoughts. Just a quick note before I get into them. Hunted by the Demon Vow, I'm only about 20% in right now, but I am really liking it. I'm liking the differences of what I thought it was going to be. Like, if you live, cool, you get to go home. If not, sorry. That's kind of what it's like. So, for Original Sinner, I ended up thinking about this for like a good day and a half, because I was so conflicted on this book in particular. So I decided on just a solid 4-star. There were quite a few reasons as to why I decided to give it a 4. Things with the characters, things with the plot. There were actually plot holes in here. I'm hoping, because it's a trilogy, that some of them will be answered in the next ones. I'm hoping. If not, I will keep that in the back of my mind. So, having Lucifer and the 7 Deadly Sins together, I thought was going to be really cool, and Rick Havoc and all this other stuff. Lucifer in this reminded me a lot of the Lucifer from the show Lucifer. If you guys know what I'm talking about, he reminded me a lot of him. He doesn't do bad deeds unless he's either provoked or someone double crosses him or something like that. He doesn't just go out and do things like that. And I don't mind that character basis. I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped the show too, was because it's okay. That's not the first thing I think of when I think of Lucifer. So that is his character base. So I think if you like the show Lucifer, you would definitely like this book. So Shara's character really got complicated because I really liked how her personality was in the beginning, where she reminded me a lot of how I would handle the situation, being very sarcastic, a little bit of a smart mouth, but also very cautious that I don't say the wrong thing. But even sometimes I slip up every once in a while and I say something I don't mean and it comes out weird. Things like that is her character, and I really liked it. But later, I don't like to curse on my channel, but it's the best way to describe how her character got transitioned. She basically became his bitch. It's the easiest way to sum it up. After everything that happens, just after everything that happens and everything that they go through, it made me disappointed because I don't see that side of her anymore. We see a snippet every once in a while, but we don't get that attitude anymore. Anyway. But, I mean, it's okay, I guess. As long as she brings it back in the other books, we'll be good. There is a section in here towards the end that doesn't make sense to me. I thought we were going to get a certain ending, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I didn't get that. Matter of fact, we pulled something that I think is really weird. I have a thing about plot armor with main characters. Plot armor to me needs to be earned, not necessarily just dished out. And I think this one was dished out. If I'm gonna be completely honest, just to save face, I'm not gonna say who, but let's just say it kind of raised a lot of questions that I have about this world, about the scenario, and I'm really hoping I get some answers, because that kind of ruined the ending for me. I thought that it was going to be a very emotional ending, and it wasn't. As a matter of fact, it kind of disappointed me. There were a couple characters in here also where they kind of just disappeared. So we have Charlotte's roommate for one, and we have Charlotte's technical boss, not really Lucifer, but right underneath it. We don't know what happened with her either, and the plot line's dealing with those. So I'm hoping that we get something later. That would be nice. I'm holding out literally for the rest of the series to see if all this gets answered. So that's why I didn't docket anything lower, because with all these issues, I would definitely have put it in the 3 range. But considering the fact that I don't know, since it's a trilogy, I decided to give it a little bit of a leeway. And then as far as the last thing goes, I thought the plot itself was a little bit weak, just because it was so simple. I don't know if that's really a problem, but considering the fact that we did all this build up and then that's where we went with it, it was just like, okay. And I kind of accepted it and moved forward with the story, and then I got slowly disappointed throughout the rest of it. Best way I was describing this, because some of the things that were happening in here reminded me a lot of it. If you wanted a darker 50 Shades, I would go down this route. Because it reminded me so much of 50 Shades of Grey. It did. And since that is the only book I'm keeping out of the series, because I actually liked it, I'd say if you liked the series, you might actually like this one, especially if you wanted things to be like a little bit darker or some more things to happen. I think this is your answer. So I would recommend this if you like 50 Shades, or if you were looking for a darker version of it, anything with BDSM in it. The only thing I would really be wary of would be the religious intolerance. I'd say if you were a Christian, very sensitive about books, talking bad about the religion, then probably it's not for you. But it didn't really bother me. So, it's one of the reasons why I didn't mind picking it up. But if it does bug you, I would be very wary about it, because this does rely heavily, since it is Lucifer, we're going off of like the original story of Lucifer, like losing his wings and all that other stuff. So it is very accurate as far as the backstory with everything goes. Now, with that, I am going to be ending this vlog, because I've been keeping up for longer than a week at this point. I needed to update you guys one more time and close the video out before I actually get to upload this. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this whole week. If you guys have reached this far, I thank you so much, because I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I was very happy that so far out of this month, I have gotten through 6 books, and I'm on my 7th right now. I am super excited for what's coming from this week to next week, because I got Nightweaver, A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly, I had to finish Hunted by the Demon's Vow, and then I just have Daggermouth left. So I got all the longer ones, but I have a feeling those are going to be the good ones. I'm hoping. I liked the way I did it this time. I liked starting from the shortest and making my way to the longest, because sometimes shorter does not mean better, and same thing with longer books. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you love your reads and drink your teas, and I'm gonna go get started reading some more. Bye! Don't know if you know this too.
best friend.